Hi guys, it's Talisha and today we have a pony club show. I am so excited because I haven't had a pony club show all year. Wow. Just due to weather and various other things cancelling comps. But today we're off to the Zone 10 Dressage Championships and I'm just so excited to be back at pony club shows. So I'm dressed and ready and covered up. Bambi is eating her breakfast currently. I'm just going to clean her stable before we look at heading off. I'm also going to take this opportunity to share some very special news with you guys while I clean a stable. If you guys don't already know, if you don't follow my Instagram, I have actually recently become a Pony Club Australia ambassador. So I felt there was no better time to tell you guys about it other than before I'm going to a Pony Club show. Yeah, it's a massive thing for me. I'm beyond excited about this opportunity to promote such a wonderful organisation. Pony Club are working super hard to make a lovely, friendly riding environment for all ages, and I think their whole initiative is just absolutely amazing. I love what they stand for. I love the whole teamwork side of Pony Club and really bringing people together to create lifelong friendships. You know, our sport is typically not very team based, but Pony Club is the one organisation that really works on creating it to be more team inclusive, and you know, we're all working together as a team. You're representing your zone, you're representing your pony club or your state, like you're working together, you're representing your team. I have so much more I would like to share with you guys about Pony Club, but that will all come in due time. But yeah, right now we are going to focus on getting Bambi ready. So I've put the last stuff in the car, float is hitched up, and I have everything I need for Bambi packed. So we are all ready to go. Now I just have to get Bambi herself. Okay, I thought I would do a little outfit of the day, I guess. So I'm gonna turn you around in my dirty mirror and show you what I'm wearing. Okay, please excuse my dirty mirror, but here is the fit. I'm wearing one of my Team Hygain hats. Just got my hair in like a little scrunchy bun type thing. It's quite cute. Then I'm wearing my Pony Club New South Wales team jacket from the 2021 Nationals. As you can see, super cute. And then under that, because it is winter here in Australia, it's cold, I'm wearing my Hygain vest. Under my vest, I have my Pony Club button up and my club tie. I don't have my jumper on just yet, as I'll put that on right before I ride. Then I'm wearing my skinnies to keep my horse pilot, oh, I could really just have unzipped them, but my horse pilot beige breeches clean. And then I'm just wearing a pair of, I think they're Dublin socks. They're a bit warmer than my usual socks just because it's cold today, and my tall boots have actually stretched, so, which is a bit of a sad thing, but they fit slightly thicker socks now. Good and a bad thing, I guess. Got her fluffy head collar ready. I'm going to, oh, first of all, look at what a gorgeous morning it is. Not a cloud in the sky. So nice considering we've had such terrible weather on and off for so long. Now it's finally been nice. There's a really full wheelbarrow. I know, I need to empty it. And a Ned. If you guys haven't met Ned before, this is Ned. He is Bambi's companion. He's not a Shetland, he's a miniature horse. Some people, when I introduced him, thought he was a Shetland because I introduced him in winter, which I'm showing him again in winter now, but he's actually a miniature horse, just super fluffy. Sam giving a big wave. Sam is also wearing a Team Hygain hat, not that you can see from over here. But as you can see, Bambi is also in her Team New South Wales gear from Nationals 2021. Need some club gear, Bambi. Need to get some Robertson Pony Club gear, because today we're not representing the state, but got to get use of the rugs that we got from representing the state at Nationals. Just going to let her have a little bit of a graze before we go, just because she's been in the stable. She does have hay 24/7, of course, and she gets feeds as well, but just let her have a bit of the grass outside the paddock, which she doesn't normally get to have. Bambi is on the float now. I'm just going to close her up. All ready to go. We have arrived. Bambi has her hay bag. Hello, Dad.
Hello.
There's Sam's hat that I mentioned before.
To eat my hand for some reason.
Attention, please. Bambi has her saddle on. Just needs her bridle already. Okay, so first test. This is the Prelim 1C, which I couldn't even tell you the last time I rode through this test. Anyway, the test itself started off quite nice. Sorry, I'm gonna have some people walking through just because of where Sam was standing. But yeah, the test started off quite nicely and in my opinion just went terribly in the end. I do like a full talk through of both tests at the very end of this video, and I will go into even more depth than I'm about to now, but I'm just going to talk you through each movement. So, like, I was pretty happy with all of these parts of the test. I did feel she was a little bit behind my leg in this test, and just kind of dipping in a little bit. I'm going to... This is our first canter. I noticed throughout the day, well, not throughout the day, but I just noticed on the day, I'll say, that she wasn't quite herself on the left rein. She just wasn't as supple. She wasn't as supple all round, I felt, but especially on the left rein, she was just a bit sticky and she was kind of drifting through that shoulder when we were on the left rein, which I found very unusual for Bambi. Anyway, long story short, I actually contacted my saddle fitter on this day to come out the following week. It's just things like that, like she goes hollow through the back when she goes into her downward transition. Anyway, I got the saddle fitter out and it turns out the flocking in Bambi's saddle was very, very compact. It really needed to be reflocked. Anyway, I've had 2 rides on Bambi since having my saddle completely reflocked, and she is a different horse. She feels so, so supple, especially on the left rein. She's consistent on both reins now, and just literally a different horse. I actually got on the saddle and felt taller because of how bad the flocking had obviously been in, like, before it got reflocked. So I kind of have come to the conclusion that I think a couple of the issues we've been having at comps, like even that little defiance, I think as soon as Bambi gets tense, see here, we have a little bit of resistance, a little bit of tension. But as soon as Bambi gets a little bit tense, I feel like because before the saddle got reflocked, it was just a bit hard on her back. It wasn't super comfortable for her, which caused even more tension. Because the only time we come across issues is when we are at competitions, not at home or at lessons or anything. And I think it's just because naturally I'm going to carry a little bit of tension when I'm competing, just because I don't even know I'm doing it, but it's only natural. Like you feel that there's a bit more pressure on you when you're in the competition arena. So yeah, I feel like a lot of those types of little niggly issues we've been having have come down to the saddle. I've got a body worker also coming out in a couple days, which the body worker would have already come by the time this video is out, just to make sure everything is perfect. But I really felt today, like on this day, I was like, I think her saddle needs to be checked, because I had a feeling it was her saddle. And I was right. It just shows you that you really should listen to your horse, because just like this day, I hadn't thought of it beforehand, but this day, like also something like this, like her long rein trot, which is normally her best thing. Like, what is this? The little swinging of the head. Like, you can just tell she's not quite 100% comfortable. And I just knew, I was like, it's her saddle, it's her saddle. And I was right. So it just shows that you should really listen to your horses, no matter how small their signals are. And I also think it's where the issue came from at the previous competition, when she ended up going up slightly, because I feel like the tension just got to her and it was just like the straw that broke the camel's back. Just so unhappy. So unhappy. There's not really anything more to say about it. It was just average. Which hence why also, back to my last little conversation, I also feel this test went so much better because we didn't go in with any tension. She didn't go in with any tension. She felt so supple and beautiful immediately. She'd already been in the arena, so, you know, a little bit more relaxation is on that kind of side of things. But she's just, because she's been in there, she's already a little bit more relaxed, and it just, there's less reason for her to get tense. But I feel like with her, when she gets tense, then the saddle may have been making her a little bit uncomfortable, which is then adding to the tension and just can sometimes put her over the line where she has a bit of a explosion of some sort. Anyway, so the previous test we came second with 71%. I really divulged that in the final part of this video. I really recommend staying to watch because I am very honest about how I felt about the score and what I thought the test deserved. So I recommend listening to it. And this test just felt awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I didn't have much of a warm-up. I got actually kind of rushed in because they moved everything forward. There were 2 horses before me when I got on for my warm-up. And I was like, yep, all right, that's fine. She feels good. I'm fine. That's all good. Let's go. Let's do this. And things like that in the corner with just the head dipping, like through corners and stuff, which is not typically something she does, I think is another sign of the saddle. Like watching these and knowing now that the saddle was not right on her, I'm noticing little things that I'm like, yeah, like the little head thing she's doing, that's not typically something she does. And the rides I've had on her since her saddle has been fixed, I've never felt her as supple as she is at the moment, and I'm hoping it continues. But anyway, here we go for our long rein walk. Yep, it's a long rein walk. I'm not at the right angle to say much more than that. I can see her nose is dropped, which is nice. I can't really tell how much she's over tracking, but I remember feeling it and it felt really good. Then we shorten her up here to a medium walk. Her walk is improving so much. And then we see the little bit of tension there just before the trot. That could also be a very clear sign of the saddle as well. Same with this transition with the little head swing, the tail flick. Things like that. So small, she's not doing anything naughty, but it's just noticing the little things that your horse does that's like, they don't look super comfortable. And although you're watching her now, she's not lame, obviously. She's not visibly sore, but it's just little reactions through their body language, their facial expressions that kind of can show that, hey, I'm not super comfortable, which she is doing through both of these tests. So I'm so glad I picked up on it, because even in this test, I still felt like as good as it feels, like things like that, look, that downward transition. All I am putting down to the saddle fit personally. Time will tell in the next comp anyway. But the tail switch there as we go into the second transition, like just little things that I'm like, I'm not super comfortable in these transitions. I don't like these. Anyway, she won this test with 68%. So that's another thing. Like just because your horse is scoring well, placing well, winning, does not mean they are necessarily happy. It's like and comfortable. It's like so many people are like, oh, well, my horse is doing the work, so my horse is happy. My horse loves it. So many people are like, oh, my horse wouldn't be, doing it if they weren't happy, or if, this wasn't, you know what I mean? It's a lot of people claim that their horse wouldn't do things if they weren't happy, if they're not comfortable. If people have horrible bits in their mouth, it's like, oh, well, my horse wouldn't keep going if she didn't like it. But no, that's not true. You're forcing your horse to do it. They don't have a choice. Some horses will put big reactions out, some won't. Like on this day, Bambi had no big reaction whatsoever, but you can tell she's sore. She's still doing the work. She still won this test. She still came second in the previous test and ended up with champion, but didn't mean she was comfortable doing it, and I don't believe she was, looking back at these and knowing what I know now. So always listen to your horses, guys. That's a terrible halt. That's a terrible halt. Bambi is all dressaged out and is very tired and just waiting to go home.
Well, and Dilly and the other ones, don't you dare. Don't you?
Okay, so typical Talisha style, it's 2 days later. Are we really surprised? No, we're not at this point, are we? Because I never end the vlogs on the day. I always forget, get tired, either one. They go hand in hand. I'm very happy with how Bambi went in the second test. I felt great in the second test. I was so pleased with her. The first test, as you saw after it, I was absolutely gutted, and a good score does not change that feeling for me. Just because the judge was not as harsh as I was, I still know how I felt, and I know that test was well and truly below average for us both. So although this a good score and still coming second in that test did make me feel slightly better, I'm not one to then just change and be like, oh, well, that's okay then. Like, that one particular judge liked it on the day, so it's fine. Like, nothing changed just because we got a good score and a good place. So I have my test sheets here. And I mean, the prelim's a bit of a difficult one because obviously Bambi and I haven't done a prelim in, I couldn't tell you, 2 years maybe? A couple years anyway. So the issues and she just kind of went in expecting to be doing an elementary, which was a bit annoying because the warm-up was really good and I'd been careful the whole week leading up to it to not be doing any of the elementary medium type works that we work on at home. But anyway, getting in the ring always changes things. But look, I'm very happy with the score. I am surprised with the score too. I think the judge really took a liking to Bambi, which helped because she leaves a lot of really nice comments. It was a really well scoring test. The parts that I felt uncomfortable with, she did score lower than the rest. I felt like it probably could have even been lower, that she could have scored for those particular moments where she was giving me 6s and 6.5s, and I felt that they probably weren't worthy of that. But obviously her opinion was different, which is always the way with dressage. Whether it goes good or bad, this day just went good for me. But I mean, you guys saw the video and you can make your own decision on how you felt the test was, and if I'm being too harsh, I personally don't think I am, neither does my dad. My dad was very honest and said that that was probably the worst overall test he's seen Bambi and I do, just because it was it was not one particular moment, it was just a few moments that were not clean. Not like she did anything wrong or anything, like nothing went terrible, it just was not anywhere near a good test for her. Anyway, started off strong with 7 and 8, 7.5 and 8 and 8, and then we dropped a little bit to a 3 6.5s, then it goes back to 7.5, 7.5, 8, 7.5. Then the rising trot circle, which I said I didn't like, got a 6, and then the last centre line got a 6.5. Now, she really liked Bambi, that's for sure. She gave her an 8 for her paces and impulsion. She wrote large swinging paces, elastic and clear, engagement of quarters, use corners to balance horse, as tendency to lose balance as test progressed, which I think is a fair comment too, because that is obviously how the judge saw it. I felt the tension kind of kicked in a little bit where Bambi was anticipating we were going to be doing walk to canters here, we were going to be doing like counter canter, things like that, anticipating harder moves, and that's where I felt the tension came in, which was shown through unbalanced. Anyway, she got a 71%, and the judge wrote at the bottom of the page as well, lovely combination of horse and rider. Bambi obviously does have beautiful paces, and I feel like that was probably what got her the scores she got in this test, just because it is a prelim as well. The big thing that they judge on is the overall paces of the horse and the accuracy of the test and things like that, because there's no laterals in it, there's no even lengthens in it, so it's kind of hard to judge on anything more, you know what I mean? Anyway, the novice 2B I was extremely happy with. I was so defeated after the first test, like you have no idea how defeated I was. I went in and I was very, very pleased with this novice test. Considering Bambi and I haven't done anything under an elementary since October last year, I was interested to see how this went, because they didn't have any elementary tests, unfortunately, which is why they just gave you the 2 tests for your age group that you were doing, which is why I did these 2 tests. Otherwise I wouldn't have done them. I would have done elementary, but I didn't have a choice. And this goes towards our state pony club qualification, so it was an essential thing for me to do. Anyway, I was very, very happy with this test, and scored pretty well in this as well. Started off with an average halt, which got a 6. 7.5, 7, 6, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 6.5, 7, 6.5, 6.5. I got a 6 for modest for length and canter. 6.5, 7, 7.5, and a 6 for our last halts. Our halts were terrible today, I'm being honest with you. Paces and impulsion got 7.5, and then submission and my position got a 7. The comment on this was big swinging movement. I can't read some judges' writing. I can't read half of it, so the parts I can read: big swinging paces, tremendous potential. I can't read the middle bits. So anyway, this test scored a 68.38%. So yeah, I was very, very happy with that second test. It was definitely a really good test for us to end on. And overall, placings wise, we got a second for the first test. And then we got a first for the second test, which gave us overall age champion. It's a rainbow ribbon. The state tests, like qualifying tests, had rainbow ribbons, where the other, like the zone tests, which weren't qualifiers for state, had proper champion ribbons. So I got a rainbow ribbon, which very much gives me like participation ribbon type vibes, but hey, I've never had a rainbow ribbon before, we'll take it. So yeah, Bambi and I don't have any comps for a little bit now. I think our next competition is going to be at SIAC again, which is actually another championship. It's Camden Dressage Championships, which I'm really excited for. I love Camden. I absolutely adore the club. Amazing committee, love them. So I always love going to their competitions and supporting their club in any way I can. But yeah, so those are the results. Very pleased with how Bambi ended up in the end, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!